Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where we are currently in orbit around Kerbin and we need to head on over to Minmus to get a couple of contracts completed. So first things first, we're going to, well, we should probably do an inclination change here. So let's set as target and let's see what we've got. 5.3 degrees? Okay, sounds good. So let's add a maneuver here. We're going to burn normal. Guessed right again. Excellent. 2 degrees, 1 degree, and that's good enough. So let's lock to that node. Fantastic. And we'll just physics warp as we turn through here. We've got about 10 minutes until we're going to start up this burn. This is going to be 200 meters per second, which should be absolutely fine. No problem whatsoever here. We've got a little bit less weight up this direction, so that looks good. And let's warp right on through. Excellent. So we've got about 1 minute here. 50 seconds. 40. 30. 20. Oh, that was a little too much. Overshot it slightly. It's okay. Warped a little too hard there, but it's absolutely fine. We started it like 1 second late. Actually, I think it was like half a second late. That's not bad. So, we'll be absolutely fine here. No issue whatsoever. About 60 meters per second left. Apparently, my throat is having issues. Fantastic. Now we're overshooting this. We're off to a wonderful start here. It's okay. I'm really not too concerned, but I was a little distracted there by my voice issues. We should be in a good spot here. So we'll just get turned back over. We'll get a small corrective burn here. 6.5 meters per second. Not too bad. Now we can focus in and hopefully pay a little closer attention now. Okay, 3 meters per second to go on this corrective burn. 1 meter per second. Good enough. This should do the trick. So 0.0, I like it. Now we're going to do our burn out to Minmus sometime around here-ish, probably. And we should, that's Moon. Hang on, where's Minmus? Minmus is out over here. Okay. This is a little early then. We should probably make this burn sometime around here. That's a Mooner encounter. We don't really need that. That's not particularly helpful. Okay, so a little bit later on this then. Sometime like out over here. That Mooner encounter is still problematic. This is a Minmus encounter, and we're not really getting any information on that because of this Mooner encounter. So let's go ahead and take an orbit here. So let's warp around to here. Let's just wait until we're clear of the moon. I don't really want to do a moon flyby here, so this should be relatively fine. This is a little slow to warp, I see. Okay. And what is our target orbit out here in terms of altitude? About 600 kilometers. Okay, so that's good to know. We will head back to Kerbin. There we go. And sometime around here-ish. Let's see what this looks like. If I can grab the prograde marker. There we go. No Mooner encounter. At least not over there. And let's bring this right on over this direction. We could maybe toss in a little radial to dial this in a little bit. We're going to get a Mooner encounter again out over here, right? And it's a little awkward. I have no idea what our Minmus encounter looks like because of this Mooner encounter. Let's add an additional orbit to this. Man, that Mooner encounter is just in exactly the wrong position right now. Okay, another orbit. There we go. Now we've got an encounter here. Cool. So that'll be fine for now. But yeah, the moon was very, very obnoxious there. No doubt about it. So this is 1.7 million meters, and, you know, that's a lot of meters. We need this to be maybe around 1 million. So somewhere around here. That would allow us to very easily encapsulate the orbit. So that should be pretty decent. The idea here would be we do the rescue and then the landing. And this will also be our rendezvous in orbit of Minmus as well. So most of this is going to happen on our transfer stage here. We can see there's a little bit of delta V that's going to happen from our landing stage. Not ideal, but I mean, we did have that loop-de-loop on the way up, so that was also in the category of not ideal. So let's just get in position for this burn. There we go. And let's do this. So there's going to be a couple of orbits. There we go. Now we're about 1 minute away. 50 seconds. 40, 30, 20, 10, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, mark. Okay, off we go. So that is, of course, absolutely fantastic. And this is going to be a little bit of a lengthy burn at about 1.5 minutes. So we'll warp through part of this. There we go. We are on physics warp at this time. And let's just accelerate on through. So we know that we're going to burn out all of the fuel in this stage. That's absolutely fine for now. Okay, throttling down a little bit, because we're going to have a staging event here shortly. About 30 meters per second left, now 10. And there we go. I had to press the stage button like 4 times there before it actually staged. That was a little creepy, but it's absolutely fine. We are in a good position now. So we need about 40 more meters per second to get into this position. As you can see, this is not a perfect transfer. We were just going for a transfer because of the moon's positioning here. Awkward timing was awkward. Okay, so we've got about 1.5 more meters per second. Let's just carefully dial that in. Something about like that. Okay, Kilrot, and we are at... This is perfectly good enough. So let's warp our way up to Minmus at this point. Up we go. And yeah, we've got this debris here that's mildly awkward, but it's okay. We will untrack that shortly. Cool. So at this point, we are in the sphere of influence of Minmus, and I want to select Minmus if we can. Focus on Minmus, please. Thank you. Okay, so now we can see we're coming in this direction, and Jesley's capsule is going in the other direction. So we're going to be coming this way, and this is going this way. Luckily over Minmus, that's not a big deal. So we're going to add a maneuver here. And this is going to be a braking burn. That's way too much braking burn. I don't want it to be anywhere near like that. I want this to be just below escape velocity. So something about there. Okay, 268.2 meters per second. Not bad. Let's lock to that node. We'll go ahead and turn here. There we go. Looks great. And we'll warp on forward a little bit. I want to check in on our life support, but we know we should be absolutely fine. And yeah, we can definitely see that Jesley's capsule is retrograde. That's okay. I'm not too concerned about that. Okay, so 50 seconds, 40, 30, 20, 10, and 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, mark. Okay, let's slow this right on down. So the idea here is that we're going to need to reverse our orbit, which sounds difficult, but it actually isn't, especially over Minmus. So we're going to be up at the very, very tip here. We're just minimally entering orbit here. So once we get here, we're going to burn retrograde and then push this. We're going to keep burning retrograde and push this back out is the idea. Just flipping around our orbit here so that we're in the same orbit as Jesley's capsule. And then we're going to need to match inclinations, which is going to be a little bit of an inclination change, but that's fine. We'll encapsulate the orbit, go for a rendezvous burn. It'll be easy enough. And we'll have plenty of Delta V to return as well. So no big deal here. We've got about 25 seconds left in this burn. Everything is looking great for now. 70 meters per second. 60. 50 meters per second to go. You can see we're really starting to move this escape point now. 30 meters per second. 20 meters per second. 10. And I'm going to burn very cautiously here. I don't actually care about this point. What I want to do is just barely be in orbit. Just barely. So we're barely burning right now until just the point where we enter orbit, which will be shortly. Looking good. There. That's orbit. Okay. So fantastic. Now what we want to do is we want to go up to the apoapsis here. At the apoapsis, at the absolute highest point that we're still within the sphere of influence here, we're going to burn retrograde. Flip that right on around and just push it right back out. So we just keep burning retrograde until this goes in, impact, and then out, like so. Excellent. So this is going to encapsulate the orbit right up over here. We don't need to push it further than this, most likely, but that's going to flip our orbit around so that we are no longer retrograde to this orbit. I'm not sure if we're prograde or if this is... I'm not sure if we're retrograde right now or if this is retrograde. I think we're prograde. I think this is retrograde. Doesn't really matter, though. Okay, so we're going to bring this in. And you can see we're going opposite directions here. And you can see this is only 42.6 meters per second to get this turned around. It's really not complicated. The main thing that this might complicate, of course, is we're adding some time on life support. So that's understood. I think we'll be okay on that front, though. So we've got 57 seconds here. Okay, 30 seconds, 20, 10, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, mark. And we'll just flip this orbit right on around and start going in the other direction. Excellent. We'll overshoot it a little bit and just put ourselves right back over here. Looks perfect. That's good enough. So put this in kill rot, and at this point we want to set Jessley's capsule as our target. The other option is we could do the landing first, but I think at this point we're pretty much committed to this. So 14.6 degrees over here. Okay, we're at the ascending node. Yep, we got to go this way. And as you can see, this is pushing our orbit out, so we're going to have to toss in some retrograde. That's not necessarily surprising. Okay, 0.3, 0.1. This might be a timing issue. Okay, this is quite sensitive at this point. Let's see if we need to adjust timing. No, this is good. This is good right here. So let's do that. We'll align to that node, and we'll do this burn in 7 days. So this is the downside of going up this high. This saves us a lot of delta V, but this is adding a lot of space-time, right? Okay, so we're going to go around here. I'm keeping an eye on our supplies here. I'm a little concerned about the waste at this point. I think we're going to have to move pretty quickly, but things are going to go a lot faster for us after this. Okay, so we're going to start this burn shortly. 50 seconds, 40, 30, 20, 10, and 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, mark. Okay, get this last half a meter per second. That should be good. 0.1 is close enough. So at this point, if we were to burn here, and we were to burn retrograde, what would this actually end up looking like for timing? Actually, this is non-terrible. This would be only 23.6 meters per second as well. I like it. That's within 4 hours, and then this would be in 4 days. So we'd be a little concerned about this. I don't know what happens if we run out of storage for this waste, though. Surely there's a way that we can just jettison that, right? You'd think. So this would be this is the supplies here. I'm looking for the waste can. That's the supplies can. Here's a waste can. So, yeah. You'd think there'd be a way we could jettison some of this, but apparently not. So that's fine. Let's warp up to here. That's going to be a couple of hours. I'm definitely concerned about our waste at this point. So we're going to have to be pretty expeditious on our return. To the point where maybe we should not land. I don't know. I feel like the landing isn't going to add that much extra time. But maybe it would be too much. 30 seconds, 20, 10, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, mark. Okay. Where does that put us? 7.8? Sure. So we're going to be heading up to the apoapsis and then heading down like this, right? Which isn't necessarily ideal. I wonder what Jessely's capsule has for life support. We don't have a docking port, but engineers are required to do Kerbal construction, right? We didn't bring one along. Yeah, I think engineers are required to do Kerbal construction. So that's understood. Okay, interesting. Let's warp to about here and see where we are. Kerbals are on a ladder. Hang on, get back in. There you go. Let's warp to about here. And let's see where we're at for our supplies. We're at about half right now. Understood. Okay, so what I want to do now is I want to be in target mode. We can see that we are pretty good here. Let's warp in a little closer. This is about an hour closer. And we can see that this has drifted a fair amount. So I'm going to take us over to retrograde side right now, although we don't have a lot of slop to work with here, so that's understood. We're going to take this around to retrograde side, and we're going to start pushing this node a little bit out over here. So you can see that our separation is getting closer. Okay, just moving ourselves up a little bit, slightly counteracting the movement that we've got going on here. We're about 3 kilometers of separation here, 2 kilometers, 1 kilometer of separation. We're losing efficiency now. So at this point, we want to warp in a little closer. Okay, so we're at about 900 meters of separation right now. And we can see that we're going to need to do a corrective burn up over this direction. That's fine. We can absolutely do that. Okay, 0.8. We're just very gently burning here right now. Half a kilometer of separation. 0.2, 0.1, and kind of losing efficiency a little bit here. Okay, let's warp into here. Just a little bit closer. Okay, what direction do we need to correct here? It's a little hard to see. Down here is our corrective burn. Okay. Just a little more. That's 0.0. This is kind of an impact trajectory. This may end up being an impact trajectory, but that's okay. We're only 12 meters per second apart. So at this point, we know that this is going to be impacting like here. Let's warp to about here, slightly before. Okay, there's a contract parameter complete. I'm very concerned about our waste at this point. I think we should just head home and abandon the landing and do the landing on the next mission, because I'm very concerned about our life support, specifically our waste. So yeah, that's very, very, very concerning. I'm going to put us in kill rot for right now, and I'm going to do a very, very minute correction. We're about 300 meters apart right now. Okay, let's put ourselves in relative velocity minus. We're still at 7.8 meters per second, and we can see we're coming in very, very close to it here. If we look at this, this is still 0.0 kilometers. We can't see how close, but this is going to be very close. I'm slowly decelerating us right now. 7 meters per second. 6. 5 meters per second. 4. 3. 2. 1 meter per second, and cutting throttle. Okay. Yeah, I'm very concerned about our waste from those maneuvers. So I think that we should abandon the landing for now, just head back and do the landing next mission. This should be okay. So we're about 30 meters away. And we just need to let this come on in a little closer. We're going to be missing it very, very slightly here, and that's kind of ideal. We're now about 20 meters away. I'm very gently decelerating us. About 0.4 meters per second. Excellent. Little bit more deceleration. 0.3, 0.2, 0.1, and 0.0. Okay, it's still slightly coming towards us. There we go. We'll just leave it like that. So we can swap over to this derelict here, and we can see they do have a little bit of oxygen and water here. Okay, we have saved Jessely as now part of the space program crew. Perfect. And we're going to be very concerned about this thing turning. Please stop. Okay, Jessely, I'm going to need you to EVA. There we go. And we're going to let go, and you're just going to fly right on over here. Yeah, the capsule is out of food, water, and oxygen. That's to be expected. Okay, we'll grab and board. If it'll let us. There we go. Okay, I think we should just head back at this point. I'm very concerned about our carbon dioxide and water on the way back. We know that this is going to be, you know, not the largest trip, but we're also retrograde here. So if we were to burn prograde here, what does that do to our orbit? Yeah, this is correct, because we were in a retrograde orbit. So that seems relatively fine. We can tune down that periapsis, so we don't actually care so much about this inclination. We'll do something kind of like this for now. So I think we should just head back and call this good. We'll lock to the node. Because, yeah, I'm very concerned about life support. I do not want to run out of storage for this. So let's go ahead and warp here. This is going to be in 1 day that we're going to do this burn. So, yeah. I'm quite concerned about that. We're just going to leave. We'll come back with our scientific equipment later, so that'll be fine. So 50 seconds, 40, 30, 20, 10, and 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, mark. We're out of here. Okay, so we're just going to burn here until such a time as we're in this position. We're going to change this from the apoapsis, so that'll be fine. We just want to get out of here for now. We should probably toss in some more waste storage, because waste is our current definite issue at this moment. Okay, I'm just going to cut this burn here. That'll be fine. So at this point, we need to escape here, and that will put us about here. Yeah. So we'll add a maneuver here. Looks like we're going to be past the apoapsis. That is good. And we're going to bring this right on down. There we go. And that's going to be in 9 days. Okay. I'm definitely a bit concerned about that. But we'll put it about there. Okay, we'll lock to that node. And let's see how this goes. I'm very concerned about our waste right now. It took us a while to get the rendezvous set up, so that's where that came from. And we'll see what happens, perhaps, when our waste fills up, but we've still got these. Maybe our Kerbals just become uncomfortable? I don't know. That carbon dioxide fill-up is the most concerning one, of course. The wastewater and the waste, you'd think they could just jettison. You'd think. Okay, so we are... And actually, the carbon dioxide, you'd think they could just jettison as well, in theory. Well, we're 50 seconds away from this burn, so let's commence that in 40, 30, 20, 10, and 3, 2, 1, 0, mark. Okay, so we're bringing this right on down. And we're going to set our periapsis at about 30 kilometers. We'll do probably a radial retrograde burn on the way in. We definitely don't want to take multiple passes on this. We do not want to have a multiple pass aerobrake. That's for sure. That would be the absolute worst case scenario for this. So about 30 seconds, or rather 30 meters per second. then 15, 10, and let's get this last little bit quite accurately here. Should be good enough. Yes. So we're coming in this direction. So that, of course, means that we are going to want to come in over here and do ourselves a radial retrograde burn somewhere around here. Now, that's going to be in 8 days, and the question is that okay? Right? We need to go this direction. Just twist that orbit around to be somewhere like here. Yeah. That looks pretty okay there. So the question then becomes, what happens if we run out of waste on the way in? This is going to be in 8 days, 3 hours. We'll find out. I'm just watching our waste fill up here. I'm not too concerned about the rest of it, but that waste is very concerning. We're about 1 day away from this burn now. Okay, we did not fill up the waste there, and I don't think we're going to, actually. Now, you can see we're moving fairly quickly, and we're going to continue to move quite quickly. Okay, we're about 40 seconds, 30, 20, 10 seconds away from this burn. 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, mark. Now, this is going to be a pretty extensive burn, about a 4-minute burn. I am going to physics warp it. And we're going to need to stow our solar panels fairly soon. But we're high up enough that that's not an issue just yet. But we need to shave off a ridiculous amount of speed here, that's for sure. So we've got about 1,200 meters per second left in our external tanks here. That looks good. And we're going to be hitting the atmosphere relatively soon here. We're at 100 kilometers, 95, and just continuing to drop. 85 kilometers, I'm going to start stowing our photovoltaic panels. There we go. We're going to be entering atmosphere shortly, right about now-ish. Actually, 1 more kilometer. Right about now. Okay. So our periapsis height is not very low at this moment. You can see we're burning almost entirely retrograde right now. We can grab a material study here, I guess, and an atmospheric analysis. Sure, might as well take those. Get something out of this. Okay, we're kind of overshooting here. I want to be in surface velocity minus at this point. So that looks good. We'll reclose our service bay, but I'm going to keep this pinned open just in case we get more data there. So I'm very glad that we decided to not go for the landing because I don't think we would have had the waste for that. I don't know if we would lose the Kerbals from running out of waste storage, but there's a distinct possibility, I think. So let's go into 4x time acceleration here on the way down. And as you can see, we are in a pretty clean orbit here. This is a nice suborbital situation, and our periapsis is a bit on the high side, but we are not going to be coming back up. Okay, we have access to an atmospheric analysis here over the deserts. Let's definitely grab that. We missed the shores there briefly. I'm going to leave this open for now, and I'm not going to grab this one again because we don't have anywhere to store that data in case we have another location here. Okay, grasslands. So we'll take that, and I'm going to pin this guy open for now. Okay. Highlands. We'll definitely take that. And we'll see what else we have access to. Probably going to get shores here again. Here's mountains. We'll definitely take that. And that's grasslands. Should be shores shortly. Any moment now. Got it. Okay, now we're going to be waters. We already have shores, apparently. So we should probably commence a re-entry burn here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I don't think we're going to get much more data. We're going to be over the water pretty significantly here. So let's just drop our periapsis down, get rid of a lot of this speed. We've got a lot of fuel on this. The question is, do we want to try to salvage all of this? If we're going to be able to land in the water, which we probably can, then that would be a good thing to do. So that would mean we would pretty much just retain all of this, or rather, we just burn off all of this fuel except for a little bit of DV in this stage. So we would keep around... We've still got a little fuel out here. Yeah, there we go. We'd keep around maybe like 20 liquid fuel in this stage. Something along those lines would be the idea. Just enough time to cushion our landing if necessary. So we are going to start accelerating again fairly soon as we go through this atmosphere. You can see we're building up a plasma sheath here. 35 fuel remaining. Now 30. 25 fuel remaining. And 20 fuel. I'm actually going to take this down to about 10 fuel remaining. 11 and 10. There we go. So as you can see, we're actually still decelerating at this point, and we're moving quite slowly. So that looks very, very good. I'm quite pleased with that. Why is it saying we have 12? Oh, that's oxidizer, then liquid fuel. Okay, never mind. I was confused for a moment, but I no longer am. Fantastic. So we're still 20 kilometers up. We're moving quite slowly. This is looking very good. We are, of course, going to deploy these chutes. It's currently risky. Now it's safe. So let's do that chute alone will be enough to slow us down significantly. And it's going to create a nice, rocking motion. We have to do it this way because I don't want to stage this. So that'll be fine. And we'll just deploy all of these chutes. This atmospheric analysis is probably better than what we have right now. So let's go ahead and run this atmosphere analysis, overwriting it. And we'll keep that experiment. And then we can collect all here. And then we can grab this again, or we can get it from the surface, and we could do both. We can grab this here, and then down at the surface, we'll be able to decide whether we want to do that or not, or we can reset it with our scientist. What is Jessley? You're an engineer? Okay, interesting. Okay, so down we go. I'm not sure if we have that data from water yet. We might already have it. Let's find out. Okay, so we are in surface mode here, traveling at about 14 meters per second. This is absolutely safe splashdown speed. We'll cushion this a little bit. And there we go. Looks like we do already have the atmospheric data, so no problem there. We could have Bob EVA and grab this surface sample, grab some amount of science from that, and let's recover that vessel. Boy, am I glad we didn't go for the landing, because we need more waste support there. And we should probably put that in. No probably about it. We should definitely put an additional, probably at least 2 waste canisters in. I'm just thinking about where I want to set those. Maybe in the service bay somewhere? There's already a lot in the service bay. Okay, so here we are. Excellent. We got 121 science from that. That's not very much, of course. And what do we have here? Docking on or around Minmus. Actually, we might be able to do that. I'm going to grab this, and we'll see if that actually ends up being a thing. Bring back a moonstone? Yes, we should do that too. So that looks fine for now. And I want to hop into the VAB, and I want to address that issue. This episode is getting long, I get that. But I want to address that waste support issue while I'm thinking about it right now. So what that means is I want to come in here, access the service bay. I'm thinking about putting one here and one here. So that would be under life support, and then we would be going for the... Okay, so this inputs electric charge and wastewater, and outputs water and waste. Interesting. So that's a good thing to know. We can recycle the water there, but these are probably pretty large parts. And we probably don't want to do that until we start having the base, right? Okay, so this splits water into oxygen and hydrogen. Noted. I'm wondering if there's anything that converts carbon dioxide into just oxygen. That's a life support container there. But what I really want to do here is I just want to have some waste containers for the moment. We can figure that all out later, right? So a waste hex can right around here. And then a second one here, like that. That will give us a lot more waste storage, and we probably shouldn't have that problem anymore. There we go. It's time to put that cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and next episode, we're going to take this rather insane rocket back to Minmus again and get our science deposited once and for all. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Dark Horse, Ethan Feldman, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.